Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to learn how to make an exaggerated sleeve. So this time around I'm going to show you guys how to sew it with a boning. So boning will give you structure, and then I'll add this hard gum. So for this tutorial I'll illustrate it with this doll face fabric that I have right here, and this is my hard gum or hard stay. I don't know what people call it. So I have my scissors, I have my chalk, my tape, and this is the Regline boning. You can see you can sew on this boning. If you check my last videos, my last two videos, you will notice that the bone that I used there is black in color. So that one, they call it the foreign bone. It is a kind of wider than this one. It is a bit wider than this one, and it is stronger. So if you are buying a bone for this type of sleeve, buy this type. This one is not that strong. It is strong, but you can feel that it is a kind of free, but the other one is too strong. So if you are buying for this particular sleeve, please buy this one that is a kind of softer. So we are going to start off by folding our fabric. So this is a doll face lining and a doll face fabric, sorry. So I will use the fabric as the lining as well. So first of all, I'll go ahead and fold this material. So for this sleeve, we are going to fold it by 12. So if you are folding, you can fold just from 10 upwards, but at least let it be more than 10. So I'm going to fold by 12, and if you want, you can add your seam allowance to the 12. If you want, you can leave it, but this time around I will only fold by 12. So if you are marking as well, there will be no shaping. If you mark 12, you will mark the 12 down. You know, if you are normally measuring our sleeve, sometimes the upper arm will be 15, the lower arm will be 11, just like that. But this time around, if you mark the 12, you will take the 12 down. There will be no shaping. There will be nothing like upper arm, lower arm, and all that. So I'll go ahead and trim off this rough part. Then I'll go ahead and take my measurement. So I'll measure 12 inches downwards. So I'll go ahead and mark. So after that, I'll go ahead and measure my full length. I'll connect the 12 inches line first, then I'll measure my full length. So the full length of this sleeve is going to be 15 inches. 15 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, that is 16. So I'll go ahead and mark 16. Then I will connect down. It will not be too deep. You make your sleeve curve. So as you can see, all of them are equal. Then if you want this sleeve to have a puff, like a small puff, if you want it to have a small puff, from this area, it depends on what you want. From this area where you marked your arm, your curve, you will go up by 2 inches or 3 inches. It depends on what you want. That is, from that area where you curved your sleeve, you go up by 2 inches or 3 inches, but I went up by 3 inches. Then from there I will make a curve that looks like this. You will make the curve to be very, very pointy, just like this one. Then you go ahead and cut out. So I am done cutting out, and after cutting this out, I will fold and I'll cut out the lining. Like I said, I will use this doll face as the lining as well. I'll go ahead and cut. So if you want, the lining and the sleeve can be equal at the length, but for me, I will reduce the lining by 1 inch. I'll reduce the length of the lining by 1 inch. So after cutting this out, I'll remove the main fabric. Then I'll go ahead and reduce the length of the lining by 1 inch. So the down one is the one that we use as the lining, so I'll go ahead and reduce it by 1 inch. So I am done doing that, and I'll go ahead and keep the main fabric aside. So the lining is what I will add this hard gum to. Like I normally tell you guys, I don't add hard gum to my doll face and to the one that will be on the outside, the main fabric. If it's a doll face material, I don't add hard gum to it. It will rumple. You all know that after adding your gum, that it will not be that smooth. So I'll go ahead and add my gum. I'll place my fabric on it this way, and I'll go ahead and iron. So I am done ironing right now. I'll go ahead and trim off all this. So if you want, you can use a color stay. We know color stay or color gum. You can add a color stay to this, and if you add the color stay to it, then there will be no need for bone. But since you're not adding a color stay, we'll add our bone. So this is the bone, and if you want to add, you will come in by 1 inch. Like it will not reach the edge of that sleeve. You come in by 1 inch from there, and then from the up from the down part you come up by 1/2 inch. So you give space, you give 1 inch space at both ends, and then you give 1 inch or 1/2 inch space from the under. So I'll go ahead and cut 4 pieces of this, because I'll add these bones at 4 places. That is on the lining. I'll sew this bone on the lining. This is a regular bone. We know that we can sew it. So I cut 4. I'll go ahead and place 1, 1, and 1. So I'll go ahead and mark it so that we'll know where to add. So I'll add 1 here. I'll add the second one, then the third one, and the fourth one. Please, the bone should not cross this it should not cross this armhole area. It should just stop at this area where I just marked this. So I will go ahead and add my bone, then come back and show you guys. So I am done adding my bone, and this is what it looks. This is my lining. So after adding my bone, I'll go ahead and place my lining, my main fabric on it. So this is the inner part of it. Please add your bone on the lining. So this is the main fabric. I'll go ahead and place the main fabric, then I will join it here. I will join, then I'll open it up and top stitch. You will join the down part only for now, then you go ahead and top stitch. Then I'll show you guys. So this is it. I am done joining, and as you can see, I have top stitched it. I top stitched on the lining part. You can see the lining part. So after doing that, you fold the sleeve like this. Like I told you guys, I want to do inseam finishing for this. You will fold the sleeve so that the joint parts will meet each other. Then you go to your sewing machine and run a straight line. You will use like 1/2 inch to shape this, or 1 inch depending. You will shape it down. Then after shaping, you will now fold the main fabric over. So I'll go ahead and join on my sewing machine. It depends on what you want. You can use 1/2 inch or 1 inch. So I am done joining, and this is what it looks like. I used 1/2 inch to join. Then I will go ahead and fold the main fabric over. So you can see the one folding it over, it will cover the bones. To cover the bones. So I'll go ahead and arrange it very well. Then I'll go ahead and iron. I'll iron the down parts. So as you can see, you cannot see the seam allowance. You know that this sleeve is standing, so if you join it the way we normally join, it might not look good. So I'll go ahead and iron it so well. This is what it looks like. So I'll iron it so well, and then I will add it to my sleeve. When you are joining at the shoulder part, please make your gathers so that it will have a curve. So at the end of the day, this is what our sleeve looks like. So the bones are kind of showing because I used a doll face material, but if you used a lace or a stronger material like damask, this bone will not show at all. But due to I used a doll face is a kind of light, that's why the lines of the bone are kind of showing. So boning is the best for this. So thank you and see you in my next video. Bye.